Hi, welcome back. This episode is not going to be a very happy one. Last week Lumpkin died, and I did not deal with it at all, aside from burying her and cleaning out her cage. If you're in one of the groups that I'm in on Angora Rabbits on Facebook, you know that Lumpkin died. If you're one of my Facebook friends, you obviously know that Lumpkin died. Today I just wanted to talk about how difficult it can be when you have a pet who you love and they die. I mean, everybody knows that. But when you have a collection of pets, like I had at one point 10 Angora rabbits, okay? That's a lot of bunnies. And it doesn't seem like the individuals would have as much of an impact when they pass as they do. I know a lot of people who keep Angora rabbits, or, rabbits, especially for people who keep meat rabbits, you just don't generally get attached to them, and that's fine. I certainly have some of my Angoras I am not as attached to as others. I had a very bad year with rabbits this year. On my birthday, I had to put Clark down. He had some pretty severe abscesses. He'd been battling respiratory infections, showing every sign of the kind of snuffles that destroys body organs. And he was not doing well. He was having seizures. I had treated some of the abscesses a little bit as to the best of my ability here, but they really needed surgery. And when I shaved him down to take him into the vet's appointment, it was so extensive. I mean, the poor rabbit was just covered in lesions, and to keep him with my other rabbits was a danger to my other rabbits, and he was miserable, and he was constantly running fevers, and I just couldn't put him through more. And especially when he's already having seizures, like there wasn't much. I mean, if we had gone ahead with the surgery, she quoted me $1,200 for the initial surgery, and then there would have been follow-ups and stuff. If we had done that, we might have gained him a year at most. And it would not have been an easy year on him, so I made the decision to put him down. And it sucked, because it was my birthday, and because I put my rabbit down, because he was so sweet. I mean, he was a really sweet little bunny. And I kind of fell for him. Sometimes you fall for the little buggers, and sometimes it's not that big of a deal. But that one hit me really hard. And that was the first one. So, I mean, it's almost been a year, and I'm still crying over my silly little rabbit. And then we had Brownie, who passed away this summer. She was actually my son's rabbit. She was a Jersey Woolly, not an Angora. And she was a riot. I wasn't supposed to have this rabbit. I think I told the story at one point, but may have been on Facebook. My friend Al deals in meat rabbits, and oftentimes he will get fuzzy bunnies, like lion heads or Jersey Woollies or Angoras. For the larger Angoras, they go ahead and send them to market. It's, it's part of what being a rabbit dealer is. And anyway, one of our other friends said that he wanted rabbits. Well, Al said, "Can I send a couple female rabbits to your house to keep for the weekend?" And I'm like, oh Lord, why am I going to say yes to this? And of course I said yes. And then our other friend said, "What do you mean they're alive?" And it wasn't just 2 rabbits, it was 6 rabbits. And they weren't just females, they were also males. So my friend Penny took 4 of them. No, 3 of them. The 2 females were definitely pregnant. I may be having my numbers wrong. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Anyway, she still has the bunnies. She loves them. She found good homes for the ones that were unintentional. And they weren't Angoras. They weren't woolies. They were a short-haired rabbit of some kind. And I ended up with the 2 Jersey woolies. We rehomed one to my son's then preschool teacher. And as far as I know, they're living happily ever after. And we ended up keeping Brownie. She was pregnant, and I didn't want to give somebody a pregnant rabbit on purpose. And she had her kits, and we rehomed her kits. It was awesome. And then my son sort of fell in love with her, so we decided to keep her. And I was out in the bunny house and feeding them and, you know, moving stuff around and nothing out of the ordinary. I opened her cage, I fed her, I watered her, I petted her head, and she kind of like did this little weird stumble thing, and I didn't really pay any attention, and I was like, you silly rabbit, the food isn't in there yet. And like I just petted her and I sort of moved her a little bit, and I didn't notice anything wrong. And I turned around to feed one of the other rabbits, and she started thrashing, and I was like, is her claw caught in the cage? And I went over, and she had died of a heart attack. And I tried bunny CPR, which is like the dumbest thing in the world. But, I mean, when your kid's rabbit dies, it's like, it's hard. And he was very broken up about it. You know, he didn't cry in front of me or anything like that, and I didn't really cry over Brownie because I wasn't super attached to her. Like, she was funny, you know, she was a nice rabbit, but she didn't have my heart. And he sort of wants another bunny, but he hasn't really chosen one yet. He's kind of leaning towards Butterscotch, but dude, Butterscotch is fine. So then just last week, Lumpkin passed away. She had not been feeling well for a couple of days, and I couldn't figure out why. Like, she was just a little bit off of food. Like, she wasn't eating her whole bowl of food. She was only eating like part of the bowl. And I thought I had figured it out because Reese's hutch is like up above where hers is, and when he was peeing in the front, he usually pees in the back. But when he was peeing in the front, it was like going in her food bowl. And I was like, okay, well, Reese peed in her food bowl. I wouldn't want to eat pea food either. So I made a little block so that he couldn't pee down into her hutch. And that, okay, fine, but then she still wasn't eating. And I looked at her nose, and I looked at her eyes, and I listened as much as I could to her tummy, and like her tummy was a little swelled up. And I was like, oh, great, well, maybe Max did get out of his hutch when it was broken. I didn't think he had, but I was like, well, maybe she's pregnant. And then she's kind of like, she was sort of sitting there and kind of acting like maybe she was pregnant. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a couple days and just monitor the situation. And she was drinking and she was eating her hay, and I'm like, okay, this is all, she's like, this is a little off, but it's not bad. And then the last day, she was sick. And it was like 5 o'clock at night, and the vet's was already closed. Of course, the vet was already closed. It wouldn't have done me any good anyway. So I gave her some antibiotics that I had here, just a general penicillin, a Durapen shot for her weight. And the next morning, she was gone. I mean, I did not expect that with how bad she was that she would still be alive in the morning. And it looked, I mean, I hate to say she died peacefully. I hate to say that because you never know. But she was just curled up in her little hidey hole box, and she was gone. And I did not deal with it. I sort of just automaticed on it. I put her in where we bury our pets, and my son attended the bunny memorial. And it didn't hit me you know, with the whole, like, chicken thing that happened, and, like, I was just so busy taking care of other animals, and my son's homeschool was insane, and I just sort of pushed off all of those emotions. And then it hit me when I was spinning her wool. And I really loved that rabbit. But it is what it is. It's part of having animals. You are going to lose them at some point. And sometimes it's going to hit you harder than other times. And this is one of them. And Peanut has been sick. I mean, this is like I'm having this ridiculous time with my rabbits. He had wool block in the summertime. And I spent 3 weeks trying to get this rabbit back on food. And I finally got him fixed up. I'm sorry. This is a very snot-filled and tear-filled episode. I finally got him fixed up. He went off food one more time. I went back through the whole herbal regimen, tummy rubs, blah, 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 blah. He's fine now. He's totally cool. He's, like, hopping around happy. Okay. But, like, Peanut is the rabbit that I love most. And when I lose him, it's gonna be bad. But I mean, I just wanted to address this because this is something that happens when you own pets. And when it happens a lot, because you have a collection, and you're attached to your collection, as you should be. I mean, if you aren't, that's okay. You don't have to invest that emotion in your pets if you don't want to, but I do. And it's just it's very hard to lose animals that you care so much for. And it's just how it is. They're worth it. They're worth every second of it. They're worth every tear that you're going to shed after they die. And like, I know that there wasn't any more I could have done for Clark. I mean, Brownie died in front of me. There was no warning. There was nothing I could have done to save her. Lumpkin, I kind of feel like I should have called the vet earlier. I kind of feel like that was my fault in a lot of ways. But the thing is when a rabbit doesn't have symptoms, what's your vet gonna do? They're like, yeah, she's acting a little off. Keep an eye on her. Bring her back in if she gets worse. I mean, it just is what it is. And if it had been something we could have treated, I don't know. I mean, we're in the middle of the country. The vets that are out here are very, like, they have the tools that they have available to them, and that's it. You know, we aren't talking about Dr. K's animal vet ER here thing. We just don't have that available here. In fact, we don't even have that for humans available here. So, but yeah, sorry for all the tears. Well, not sorry. Not sorry for all the tears. My bunnies are worth some tears. So, anyway, give some love to my Lumpkins on the video because that's where we can see her now.